America's National Security Agency and its British counterpart GCHQ have stolen the encryption keys protecting the privacy of cell phone communications, according to a new leak. Now, the top secret documents revealed by whistleblower Edward Snowden say that intelligence agencies have hacked into the internal systems of the world's largest SIM card manufacturer. With these stolen encryption keys, intelligence agencies can monitor mobile communications without seeking or receiving approval from telecom companies and foreign governments. To discuss this further, I'm now joined by Mark Rogers, head of security at DEF CON Conference Live. Thank you very much, Mark, for being with us. As always, it's a pleasure. Now, it seems that the NSA and GCQ are ready to cross all legal and sometimes illegal boundaries to collect data. Does this new leak surprise you at all?
It doesn't surprise me in the sense that it's a continuation of a theme that we've been seeing for a while now. They're doing everything they can to compromise infrastructure as much as possible so that they can gather as much information as possible. What was a little bit of a shock for me was how easy it was for them. Listening to and reading some of the documents that have been pushed out and some of the commentary on it, it looks like these companies really did not have very secure practices in how they handled this is incredibly sensitive material. And now that it's in foreign hands, it's almost impossible for them to resolve this easily.
So now we have this revelation that the leak took place, but the executive vice president of the digital security company, which has been hacked, said that it is important to understand how this happened to prevent it in the future. What kind of a reaction are we going to start seeing from companies to this revelation?
I think that's actually a surprisingly healthy attitude to come from this. Too often the focus is on who did this rather than how did this happen. What we're finding is it's not just these electronic communications companies, but all of our big enterprises have terrible security practices. We saw this with Sony, we've seen this with our newspapers like New York Times, all of them being compromised at the moment because of issues, because of poor security, because of a lack of cohesive security culture within them. This is something that we're going to have to fix because this sort of situation cannot keep happening.
All right. Now, this is just what we know about the NSA and GCHQ are monitoring, of course, telephones, computers, social networks. What else do you think that they could attempt to get into if they had their druthers, if you will?
Honestly, I kind of anticipate them being into almost everything. I mean, so far, we've understood that they've compromised mobile phones. This key data, the key material they've stolen, are literally the keys to the kingdom for mobile phones. With these keys, they can passively listen into calls, they can clone cell phones, they own the cell phone network now. They've been tapping into the fiber optic lines that span the world and pulling data off of that. I struggle to see what else that there is that they can't intercept. It sounds to me like they're pretty much pervasively in everything, and we're going to have to spend the next 5 or 6 years working on how to rebuild everything to get them out of it.
Now, breaking all of this down, we know that the NSA and GCHQ are spying, but at the very basic level, how legal is it to break into a private company's operations to get information so that you can spy on and collect data?
I think that's pretty clear. It's absolutely not legal. As an information security practitioner, I have a kind of an ethical code of conduct I'm supposed to follow, and it makes it very clear. You cannot break into other people's systems without their explicit permission. And most countries have laws which are pretty explicit in saying that you cannot break into other people's systems, you cannot access other people's networks. It seems to me that these intelligence agencies are operating above the law.
All right, appreciate your thoughts. Mark Rogers, head of security at the DEF CON Hacker Conference. Thank you very much for being with us. Always interesting to hear your thoughts on these types of subjects.